NADECO membership. Do you have an idea if the president is still a member of NADECO? Because I know that in not so long a time, the NADECO US fought him to literally a standstill during his after the elections and all of that. And then I haven't seen him do anything around NADECO. So do you have an idea if he's still a member of NADECO?
Firstly, I would want to say is NADECO still in existence before becoming a member?
NADECO US, I think, is still in existence.
When you talk about NADECO US, to what effect does NADECO US got to do with the Nigerian polity? If we have a government from other European nations and America not even being able to in any way possibly from their body languages make any kind of impact or difference about what transpires in our political sphere, what about an organization based outside of Nigeria? Even those in Nigeria, how well have they been able to impact in the system? I think what we'll be looking at is what our antecedents back then while I was in NADECO, a member that we knew was an active member in the military era and the military days. And it is one thing for me who believes that the COSEYL, their call to them is a very clarion call, it's a justifiable call, as it is the call and the desire or the intent of many, both from the southeast, the south, and the southern part of Nigeria mainly. We have seen how this Kanu's trial had gone back and forth. We saw the funny extrajudicial way it was brought out back from was it call it kidnapped or they call it rendition from Kenya and all. Be that as it may, it is obvious that to human rights and human common sense thinking, one would want to fault the federal government for all the ways, for all that the federal government, the way the federal government has managed the situation, juxtaposing other serious issues of security threats and possible terrorism that bedevil the country. But be that as it may, the federal government has taken a stand, and I think, like the Holy Book would say, to every man in his own sight is right. And from the federal government standpoint, I think they're right. And I think the COSEYL's call for Tinubu to respect the rule of law and release Kanu. I was thinking for us to call any president an hero or a hero, as the case may be, is one who takes the bull by the horn, goes the political route, makes a declaration, presidential pardon, whatever you call it, and get the man released. Outside of that, going through the judicial processes, the way the Nigerian judicial processes is today, it's like when the bourgeois sit down and make a decision, the outcome of the decision becomes our judgment. And these are local finances, philosophies or belief systems. Over time, I think this is becoming the mainstay of our judicial judgments and processes, and it's becoming something very worrisome. However, President Tinubu might possibly want to go through the judicial route so that he will not either take blame or take unnecessary bashes for whatever decisions reached by the judges in respect to what transpires to become the fate of Kanu at the long run. Upon that strength, I think it's equally okay for those that are pro the president and pro the government. However, it is pertinent to note that many persons, whether those from the NADECO days, activism days, comrade days, awareness, and all other civil society, at the mark were able to shut down the government, both in military areas, people giving their lives to many. I think those that died are the biggest losers, because at the end of the day, if they come back by one reason or the other to see what their compatriots have become, who have been able to find their ways into government, I think they will feel that they died for nothing. But be that as it may, let us hope and believe that the Kanu issue will once again, to a large extent, set another precedent, possibly in the right direction going forward. But outside of that, I think it's just another call, but I don't really think it holds much going forward on this same particular
Okay, so another issue they raise is the fact that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, is going to, first of all, they said they have expressed the optimism with the outcome of the December 15 judgment. Do you, before we get to the security issue, do you see the courts, the Supreme Court, releasing Nnamdi Kanu by 15th of December this week?
I think it is another opportunity for the judiciary, whether we like it or yes, no matter who feels bad about our analysis and how we perceive the government and perceive the different arms. I think it's another opportunity for the judiciary to start salvaging whatever is left, if there's anything left of herself. Because prior to this time, too many judgments that have come out from the Supreme Court there have been judgments that have made the average Nigerian shed even more tears. The expectations were completely and totally dashed. So let's believe that the Supreme Court will toe the line of the appeal court. Because for me, in a sane society and sane environment, when you look at the prescription of IPOB and the allegations or whatever the charges leveled against Nnamdi Kanu, to me, if anybody not in government, it's going to be difficult for anybody not in government to be able to see reasons with government and its stance. So having believed so, I just want to believe that for the appeal court to have dropped down all the charges, asked for an unconditional release and all, as a judgment from equally eminent justices, I think it is important that the Supreme Court, I want to believe that the Supreme Court will likely toe that line, because they will not want to make I don't want to rubbish that very hallowed chamber any further, or rubbish the works of their compatriots. So I think going forward, I just believe there's a level of optimism. But another fear is, even if the Supreme Court makes this declaration and judgment today, will the federal government yield to it? The federal government accept the judgment and do the needful? That's another kettle of fish.